Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us today. I am here with Kate McDowell. So, Kate, go ahead and just introduce yourself for us.
Hi, thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here. My name is Kate McDowell. I'm a registered holistic nutritionist, but then I layered on NLP and hypnosis in the last year just because of some of the challenges I saw clients having when it came to really getting to the goals that they wanted. And so I got into this space because my own health journey, I was diagnosed 20 years ago with a critical condition, MS. And I was a science-minded kid, and I thought medicine's the only answer. And it's not until things don't work for you that it's like I need to look for something else. And that's ultimately what happened for me. I started with nutrition, and then I found a similar thing as my clients. It was like, what's getting in the way of me getting where I want to go? And that's where I started to explore NLP and hypnosis, and just have found it's so beneficial in so many ways.
Yeah, I can really relate to that as well. Just from being a massage therapist, and which I still do, but I worked with or continue to work with a lot of athletes, a lot of
Mhm.
people who suffer from acute and chronic pain. And, we always kind of think about those physical practitioners that can help with it, like massage therapy, like physiotherapy, chiropractors, all that side of it. And also, nutritionists as well who work with athletes and that kind of population. And we need to look elsewhere. We need to kind of look inwards a little bit more and kind of what is going on there. So yeah, I'd love to hear your perspective a little bit more on that.
I mean, well, my own story is kind of the easiest way that I can explain this that typically makes sense to people. But yeah, I thought, like I said, I was a medical or science minded kid. And so I thought medicine is the answer when there's something wrong with you. And this is not different than thinking like something physical, something outside of you, something tangible is the answer.
Yes.
Right. And so I took all the medications, and at times I blamed myself because I thought I'm just not patienting good enough. That's got to be why I'm not getting better. And what I started to learn over time was like, I'm doing everything right, or everything that I've been told to do from the physical side of things, but things still aren't working. And so I had this kind of epiphany moment when I was raising money for the MS Society, and a friend said to me, I love you, I will sponsor you, but they're never going to come up with a cure. And I was just like, it was in my
Yeah.
heart.
Yeah, I can imagine.
But it was that like threshold moment where it got me to see that there's kind of three things that are important. I need to realize a change needs to happen. The change needs to be now, and it's up to me. Because all this time I'd been waiting for something outside of myself to come and rescue me. And in that moment, I realized it's got to be me. It's got to
Yeah.
come from inside. And when it comes to the mindset, the subconscious, unconscious mind work that we do, it's not something, it doesn't come at the bottom of a pill bottle or any kind of physical treatment, anything anyone does to you. It's realizing that like we are so much more powerful than we've been led to believe. And so, as much as that was like the knife in the heart, like, holy crap moment for me, it was always also like oh, oh, okay. If I take responsibility, there's so much more I can do. And so that's kind of been my journey like since then. When we deal with chronic pain or we deal with all these problems, lots of people get to the point where they're like, that can't have been for no purpose. And so that's like the way I look at things now. It's like, I'm here to help people realize that they can take so much more control when it comes to any of the challenges that they're dealing with. We don't have to put it outside of ourselves. And honestly, if we do, it's not as possible. I don't know if that's the right way to say it. Like the results are so much more achievable when you commit and become a part of the journey as well. I don't even know what you asked me, but I think
I don't remember either, but I've just really enjoyed listening. I think I asked you what was your perspective, and you gave an incredible answer there. And so many things I can relate to from suffering from chronic pain
Mhm.
for over 20 years now, to varying degrees.
Mhm.
And I've I had MRIs, and there is something physical going on, but that doesn't mean that there's a whole lot of psychological stuff going on too, because that's over half my life. And I had an experience recently where I met a hypnotherapist who specializes in pain management, and I spent some time with her, and she generously just helped me out, and my pain level decreased within 20 minutes. And
Right.
so that just proves, like what you're saying as well, how much of this is psychological. And I loved your term when you said, I've not heard it said in this way, but I loved it when you said, I'm not patienting well enough. And we tend to blame ourselves for that kind of thing, even if, we're seeing a nutritionist or a massage therapist or whoever we're seeing, you tend to think, oh, if I missed something, what am I not following what they're saying? Am I not doing their program properly? Why am I not getting results from this? And you may experience this with clients in the same way, that we tend to sometimes be the last hope. And, looking inward is the last step on that ladder, on that rung, when it shouldn't necessarily be. But we often think of the physical first, and what we can do in that sense, and coming to you for maybe more nutrition help on MS. And also want to just say, good for you for listening to somebody say, well, this is great what you're doing, but there's not going to be any cure, and not receiving that inwardly and letting it in a way that takes over you and lets you feel defeated, but the opposite of just not accepting that. And because a lot of people hear this from different practitioners and from doctors and people who have that authority in those circumstances, and often are listened to for that reason. But good for you for kind of throwing that away and being like, no, I'm not going to accept that.
Well, right at first, I probably didn't.
Yeah.
Also, and it was my best friend that said this to me. And they say that like a good friend will tell you what you want to hear, and your best friend will tell you what you need to hear. And it's exactly what I needed to hear. And don't get me wrong, I left that moment and I was angry. I was like pissed. I was upset. I was like insulted. Like, how could she say that to me? Like, do you even care? And it wasn't until I went home and I was like, oh God, she's totally right. And it's at first we can be like, who the heck are you to say that to me, kind of thing. But this was like more than 10 years into my diagnosis. So this is sometimes when you hear things like that, especially if it's someone in a place of authority, and I've been here too, it's like a badge of honor that we can walk around and wear, right? Like, oh, I'm the person with MS. And the one thing, not one thing, but a big part of the MS thing, that I've been on both sides of this perspective, which is a cool experience to have, because I can kind of level with people regardless of where they are in their journey. But the victim side of things, I've been there. And that gives you some benefits and some perks. I got a lot of attention when I was there. I had a lot of understanding. I had an out for doing hard things. I remember my boss coming to me and saying, you didn't hit your sales targets last week. And I was like, oh, I was having a hard MS week. And he's like, oh, no, okay, no, don't worry about it, kind of thing, right? So there is a lot of benefit to staying in the victim and choosing the path of like owning that condition, that illness, that chronic pain, whatever it is. And when you make that step over to the side where you're like, yeah, no, I'm like taking that off and setting it down. And as you set it down, you have to let go of all those things. And that can be tough, because like I lost all of the friends that I had made because of MS. All of a sudden I wasn't one of them. And so I was pushed away. And that can be hard to go through, but it's like recognizing that we are so much more powerful than we've been led to believe. And knowing that when you own what's going on with you and make the choice to do the hard things, it's not easy to get to a place where things are better. Like I had to learn how to cook. I had to throw away my multi-grain Cheerios that I used to eat for dinner every night. Like I had to do a lot of different things. And it's not that it's hard, but it is effort, right? But when you start to see like, oh man, 7 years I've been injecting myself every day, and for the first time in 7 years, I'm feeling better. Holy crap. Wow. You can take your life back. You can take so many things back when you step in and take responsibility and just look for different opportunities, right?
Yeah, I mean that's literally life changing. And obviously your diagnosis was also life changing
Yep.
when you received that. And it must have been a really scary thing to hear at that point, to be told that you have MS, because it's a serious condition, and you were probably told that this is a lifelong condition. So to hear that, and then to come around and find those therapies or tools that can work for you in a natural way, like you said, without injecting yourself and have to go down that road, and then to start the mental side of it as well, because when you've been told those things and when you felt that inside you, that can be really difficult. Like you said, it takes a lot of effort to do these things, and it's the same with that mental psychological work as well. Some the things that we do with this are simple. They're not necessarily easy though, and especially when you have to do them on a daily basis to kind of maintain that. And sometimes you might be in more of a dip just psychologically, whether that's to do with your health or your career or your relationships, whatever. We all go through these, peaks and dips of life. How have you found that having these tools such as hypnotherapy and NLP has like helped you personally and then help your clients as well?
I found NLP probably one of the most powerful things, and a metaphor that I share all the time is like, imagine wandering around and trying to do all of the things we do on these incredible smart devices now on a flip phone. It would be a lot harder to do. And so being able to kind of just reprogram, rearrange update the operating system that's going on in our mind. Like, you don't have to tell your heart to beat every time it beats. Your unconscious mind does that. You don't have to tell your lungs to take a breath every time you need oxygen, every time you need air. We don't tell our digestive system like, hey, here's what I need you to do with what I just ate. We don't tell our system to do 90 to 95% of the things that it does automatically. So what if we can like reprogram your system so it focuses on moving you towards better health? It's less effort and the body starts working with you. And so that's where I found NLP. Hypnosis, like NLP reprograms the system, and then hypnosis like sinks it in so that it's more effective. But I had one client last week, actually. She came to me, MS. She's been dealing with digestive problems for like almost her whole life, multiple decades. And she said to me, like, I'm never feeling satisfied. I never feel satiated after I eat. And so then some days I'll just eat more and I have like an F it moment, because she's like, what does it matter? And then she feels bloated, and then she feels horrible after doing that. And doing some parts work with her, which is an NLP technique, she's like, I feel satiated for the first time in more than a decade. It's like mind blowing when you start to get your body working with you instead of working against you for all this time. And if there's any symptoms, if there's any health problems going on, your body is trying to communicate something with you. And so when we can start kind of decoding that and figuring out what the body needs, it's pretty amazing what it can do. And so NLP, I guess I use all of it. I mean, from a nutrition perspective, I don't have a plant here anymore. I just take it downstairs. But if I were to put a drop of poison into my plant it's not a lot, just a little bit. It's no big deal, right? If we're eating things that are ultimately causing inflammation or poisoning us in gentle ways, day after day after day after day, I think nutrition's an important part too. But like, put away the flip phone. Update the operating system so that your mind can start working with you to get towards the goals that you want. It's probably my biggest for myself and then for clients as well.
Yeah. And just when you're talking about nutrition or, poison in our body. We're not talking about something that's going to kill you immediately if you consume this, but over time it's literally sapping energy from our body that could be used elsewhere. And oftentimes that, and we don't necessarily think of this, but it's our mental energy is sapped, and also our physical. But these two things work in tandem. They're not separate. And as we start to work on both things together and allow that, that's when, like you said, it's mind-blowing the differences that can occur when you allow the two to integrate and don't think of them as two different operating systems, because we are mind, body, soul, we are one holistic entity. And it's easy to, especially, I resonate with what you say when you were academically minded and you love the science of things and you like to have the research to back things up. And I'm the same. That's how I grew up, and I was very academically minded, but I'm so glad that I've opened up my horizons to this. And what I actually love about it is that research side of things is coming into what we're doing now, is coming in to show the benefits of things like hypnotherapy and things like NLP. And like I said, that hypnotherapist that I was talking about that I met recently, her name is Nora Noble, and she's based down in the States and specializes with pain management, and she combines it with Reiki. And she's about to publish a case study in the Journal of Physiotherapy. And she's been working with a physiotherapist on 10 case studies, 10 people for the last 2 to 3 years suffering with pain. And when they've combined a physical and a mental technique, so the physio and hypnotherapy and Reiki, the results have been incredible. And that is a piece of research that is about to be published. So I'm sure you would agree with me. I love to see that is happening in this industry, because like I said earlier, we are sometimes the last hope for people. But now getting that research coming in, that just all it does is help what we're doing and help more people out there.
Yeah. And it's fascinating to see it. And it's like, I mean, hypnotherapy has been around for a long time. First of all, this isn't like some modern, like medicine, I think, is newer than hypnotherapy. But if we look at things too, you could wait for the science. And many people are like, oh, I'm waiting for the science, for the evidence, for the research. What if you wait for your entire lifetime? Right? That's like, I was waiting for a cure. I thought someone else is going to come and solve this problem for me and find this cure. And it's like, I could have waited my lifetime for that. What if it never comes? What if you could start doing stuff for yourself now? And then when the science, the papers, the whatever comes out, you're just like, oh, cool. I knew that. Right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, when you get to a point, like you said, us being people's last line of defense, it's like, I need to find something different. And I was very science-minded too. I had this very narrow, the lighting's not great, but I had this very narrow field of view of medicine's the only option. And when I was staying here, nutrition was out here, mindset was out here, all these other things were out here. And I was like, nope, bouncing them away, because I was like, that doesn't fit in my field of view. And it wasn't until I started to expand that and open that up that I started to see nutrition. I started to see all these other things. And like, I've been symptom-free for 9 years with a condition that they say there's no cure for it. And hearing the diagnosis wasn't the hardest part for me. It was hearing there's nothing you can do. That was the biggest, like, why bother? Why try? I'm not going to get better. What's the point? And that can be in a really crappy place to be in, because you just kind of accept that things are going to get worse, but it's not true. There's so much you can do. And that's the message that I try to share, like, to as many people as possible with anything, with chronic pain, with whatever the health stuff you're dealing with, the emotional stuff, finance, like all of these things, we're limiting ourselves if we're choosing to keep it to try and stay the same. But you're not choosing, you're choosing. So there's so much more.
I was going to ask you, what is the one thing that you would say to anybody watching this right now who has been diagnosed with MS and may be in that position where they're scared and they don't know what the future is necessarily going to look like for them. So yeah, what is that one message that you want to send to those people who might be watching this?
I have lots of messages. There's so much more you can do. Like if someone tells you there's nothing, you don't have to believe them. And yeah, like I'm open to a conversation and I'm putting that on social media all the time. Like, let's have a conversation. Actually, one of the funnest exercises that I do with people, I have dozens of people on TikTok, on Instagram, kind of all over now saying, every day I'm getting healthier and healthier. Every day I'm getting healthier and healthier. And since I've been pushing that out and suggesting to people, like, just try this. Shouldn't use the word try, but just do this. There we go. Just do this. Say that to yourself every day. Write it down, look at it, say in your head, say it out loud. I get DMs every single day with people who are like, oh, my legs were wobbly and now they're not. Oh, I have more energy than I used to. I'm sleeping better. Like all of these things are starting to change. And it's like putting into your GPS where you want to go. So focus on where you want to go. Because how often do we put in there, I don't want any more symptoms. I don't want things to get worse. I don't want to deal with chronic pain. I want the pain. I don't want the pain to be here anymore. I don't want to deal with all these things. And it's like, if you're putting in your GPS where you don't want to go, don't get surprised when you get there. Focus on what you want. So that's probably, there's my gift to anyone watching this. Every day I'm getting healthier and healthier. You can change it any way you want. Just make sure it's positive. Focus on the direction that you want to go in.
And that's amazing. And I really want to thank you for sharing that and everything else that you shared here today. So thank you for that. And if you're watching this and you are dealing with MS and want to have a conversation with someone who has experienced that themselves and has been told what you have been told, but has come out on the other side of it, please contact Kate, and I will put the links in the description of this video where you can find out more about what Kate does. So thank you for joining me today, Kate.
Thank you. This was great.
It was.